The President of Mongolia attends the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting in Astana. Germany and Mongolia enhance technical engineering education cooperation. State visit of the King of Bhutan to Mongolia. For other news, stay tuned. On July 3rd, the President of Mongolia, Khurelsukh, arrived in Astana, the capital of the Republic of Kazakhstan, to attend the meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as an observer. Upon his arrival at the Nur-Sultan Nazarbayev International Airport, President Khurelsukh was welcomed by the Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Mongolia to the Republic of Kazakhstan, Bayrkho Dashtorch, and the Deputy Prime Minister and Chief of Staff of the Government of Kazakhstan, Galimjan Koyshibayev. During his visit, President Khurelsukh is scheduled to meet with the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and the President of the Republic of Kyrgyzstan, Sadir Japarov, to discuss relations, cooperation, and other issues of mutual interest. Mongolia holds the status of an observer in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The country has been an observer since 2004 and participates in the organization's meetings and activities without being a full member. As an observer, Mongolia engages in dialogue and cooperation with the SCO member states, focusing on areas of mutual interest such as regional trade, economy, and cultural exchanges. On the sidelines of the meeting, President Khurelsukh will hold official talks and meetings with international leaders, including the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres. Germany is known and renowned worldwide for its exemplary education system, particularly in the field of technical engineering. Leveraging this reputation, Germany and Mongolia have embarked on a collaborative journey to enhance the education sector in Mongolia. This curricula that align with international standards.
Today's inauguration of the Scientific Cooperation Office in Mongolia opens doors for Mongolian students to study Saxony, Germany, renowned for its technical engineering education. This collaboration promotes human-to-human exchanges, enriching our students' educational experience and fostering cultural understanding.
The collaboration between the two nations is expected to bring a wealth of knowledge and resources to Mongolia. German educational institutions will offer their expertise in technical engineering, providing Mongolian students and educators with access to cutting-edge technology and innovative teaching methodologies. This initiative is anticipated to produce a new generation of skilled engineers in Mongolia capable of driving technological advancements and economic growth. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs. On the invitation of the President of Mongolia, Khurelsukh, the King of Bhutan, Jigme Khisar Namgyel Wanchuk, will pay a state visit to Mongolia from July 8 to 15. During the visit, President Khurelsukh and the King of Bhutan will hold official talks to discuss expanding bilateral relations and cooperation between Mongolia and Bhutan. They will also explore opportunities for collaboration on international and regional issues. The two leaders are expected to sign documents aimed at strengthening the legal foundation of their relations. Additionally, the King of Bhutan and his family will attend the National Naadam Festival and other ceremonial events as honored guests. The visit marks the first state visit by the King of Bhutan to Mongolia since the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries in 2012. During the upcoming Naadam holidays on July 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, selected public transport routes in the city will be free of charge for commuters. A total of 32 vehicles will operate from 7:20 a.m. to 9 p.m., serving 7 key routes aimed at facilitating travel to and from popular Naadam event locations. These routes include B1 Michel City Central Stadium, B2 between Dunjungarov Shopping Center and Central Stadium, B3 Narantol Market and Central Stadium, B4 Parking Lot at the Central Train Station and Central Stadium, VE5 Davani Zurluk, Hui 7, Hui 7-1 Central Stadium and Hui 7 location, Hui 7-2 Mongolian National University of Education and Hui 7 location. This initiative is part of efforts to ensure convenient transportation for spectators and participants during the festive Naadam celebrations. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by the Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at the international news provided by our partner agencies. China's President Xi Jinping attended a welcome ceremony in Kazakhstan on Wednesday ahead of a summit for an international group founded to counter Western alliances. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization was established in 2001 by China and Russia to discuss security concerns in Central Asia and the wider region with a particular focus on cross-border terrorism. Besides China and Russia, other members include Iran, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. This is Xi's fifth visit to Kazakhstan. He is expected to hold talks with Kazakhstan's President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev on bilateral relations, cooperation in key areas. She will also pay a state visit to Tajikistan at the invitation of President Emomali Rahmon. Japan issued its first new banknotes in 2 decades Wednesday, yen packed with 3D hologram technology to fight counterfeiting. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Tokyo praised as historic the state-of-the-art anti-counterfeit traits of the new 10,000, 5,000, and 1,000 yen bills. While the new bills were released, currency already in use will remain valid. In fact, people will still need older bills to use most vending machines and to pay bus fares, local media reported. Kishida noted the people featured on the bills celebrate Japanese capitalism, women's equality, and scientific innovation. The 10,000 yen bill, worth about $62 at the current exchange rate, has the face of Ichi Shibusawa, known as the father of Japanese capitalism, a key figure in building Japan's modern economy. He is credited with founding hundreds of companies. The 5,000 yen bill, worth about $30, features Umeka Tsuda, a pioneer feminist and educator who founded a college. The 100 yen note, worth about $6.20, portrays physician and bacteriologist Shibasabura Kitasato, who was instrumental in the research of tetanus and the bubonic plague. The backs of each of the bills feature Tokyo Station, Wisteria Flowers, and artist Katsushika Hokusai's Mount Fuji, respectively. The new bills also feature larger printing so they are easier to read, especially for the nation's aging population. By the end of March next year, nearly 7.5 billion new banknotes will have been printed according to the government. The amount of money in the new bills going out in a single day is estimated at 1.6 trillion yen. It may take some time for ordinary people to get hold of the new bills. They first are going to banks and other financial organizations. Then they'll be distributed to automatic teller machines and stores, according to the Bank of Japan. A majority of transactions in Japan still are done in cash, and cashless payments have been slower to catch on than in many other countries. Google has ambitious plans to address climate change with clean operations around the globe, but the tech giant came nowhere close to its emissions-cutting goals last year, according to the company's annual environmental report released on this Tuesday. 3 years ago, Google set an ambitious plan to address climate change by going net zero, meaning it would release no more climate-changing gases into the air than it removes by 2030. But a report from the company Tuesday shows it is nowhere near meeting these goals. Rather than declining, its emissions grew 13% in 2023 over the year before. Compared to its baseline year of 2019, emissions have soared 48%. Google cited artificial intelligence and the demand it puts on data centers, which require massive amounts of electricity for last year's growth, making that electricity in traditional ways emits greenhouse gas emissions like carbon dioxide and methane, which warms the planet, changing its climate, bringing more extreme weather. Some experts say the rapidly expanding data centers needed to power AI threaten the entire transition to clean electricity, an important part of addressing climate change. That's because a new data center with its need for electricity can delay the closure of power plant that burns fossil fuel. Data centers are energy intensive, require high voltage transmission lines, and need significant amounts of water to stay cool. They are also noisy. The installations often go in where electricity is cheapest, not always where the renewables such as wind and solar are key source of energy. Global data center and AI electricity demand could double by 2026, according to the International Energy Agency. Data centers are also challenging the sustainability pledges of other major tech companies. Microsoft said data centers caused its emissions in aggregate to grow 29.1% from its 2020 baseline in its May's environmental sustainability report.
To say I want to cut almost all of my emissions by 2030 is, we recognize, very ambitious. But there is a perception that to wait and do that later, maybe for better technology or to wait for the rest of the world to figure it out, is a conservative option. And I want to be clear, that's not a conservative option. We're already seeing, right, a lot of consequences of climate change. And if we don't make the cuts now, those consequences are going to continue to grow. And so that's not a conservative or safe or reliable option either.
Tech companies make the case that AI, including tools such as ChatGPT, is not only partially causing climate change, it's also helping to address it. In the case of Google, it could mean using data to predict future flooding or making traffic flow more efficiently to save gasoline. Google's emissions grew last year in part because in total energy consumption also grew up to 25,000 gigawatt hours, an increase from 22,000 in 2022 and more than double the hours of energy consumed just 4 years earlier. A gigawatt hour is roughly the energy that a power plant serving several 100,000 households puts out in 1 hour. On the positive side, as Google's consumption grows, so has its use of renewable power. The company said in 2020 it would meet its massive need for electricity using only clean energy every hour of every day by 2030, all over the world. Google said it saw an average of 64% carbon-free energy for its data centers and offices around the globe last year. At the same time, Google says its data centers are on average 1.8 times as energy efficient as others in the industry. Now let's take a look at the world weather forecast. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you next time with more stories and updates. Have a nice day.